Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. This video is gonna be a little bit different, but it's packed with a ton of information that you need to know. Let's first talk about industrial revolutions, because we are in the middle of one right now. The fourth industrial revolution, 2010 to the present. It's also merging with the fifth industrial revolution, which is AI. Right now we're in the digital age, blockchain, crypto. The fifth industrial revolution is going to be AI, machine-to-machine payments, machine learning, people merging with machines, if you listen to the World Economic Forum. But because you're invested in the right cryptocurrencies, you know what's going to happen? This is going to go into the history books. And a lot of people are going to emerge from this industrial revolution. They're going to go on to write books. Maybe they're on the mainstream media circuit, going show to show, talking about how they bought XRP for well under $1. Because you are like a modern day gold digger. You're out there digging gold every time you invest in these cryptocurrencies. You are going to get very rich off of crypto like XRP and XLM and XDC. But it's also an innovation cycle. So you see, the first wave was water power, textiles, 60 years ago. Second wave, 55 years ago, steam power, rail, steel. 50 years ago, electricity, chemicals. 40 years ago, petrochemicals, electronics, aviation. 30 years ago, digital networks, software, new media. 25 years, they're talking about going into the future, AI, Internet of Things, robots and drones, clean tech. But that sixth wave and fifth wave are overlapping, and that's where we are right now. And if you invest in the right cryptocurrencies, you're going to ride both the fifth wave and the sixth wave at the same time. Look at XRP. Look at some of these cryptocurrencies that are ISO cryptocurrencies. They're also leaning towards AI. And blockchain and AI are going to come together like never before. But it's not just an industrial revolution. It's also a revolution inside of the internet. You had Web 1. Then we had Web 2.0. Now we're going into Web 3. And that's also evolving. And a lot of these cryptocurrencies are also tied in with Web 3. What I like about investing in like QNT and HBAR and XRP and XLM is they're so well rounded. They're tied to Web 3. They're tied to AI. They're also tied to tokenization, which is now the next step inside of blockchain. It's going to be a major catalyst. Custody is also very big. I like to invest in crypto that's tied to everything because I think they're going to be the highest valued cryptocurrencies once we push through this industrial revolution. And there it is. The fourth industrial revolution also has a dark side, and it's CBDCs, and people don't like it, but the Fed's been pushing for this ever since 2020. Here's Jerome Powell in 2022.
Looking forward, rapid changes are taking place in the global monetary system that may affect the international role of the dollar in the future. Most major economies already have or are in the process of developing instant 24/7 payments. Our own FedNow service will be coming online in 2023. And in light of the tremendous growth in crypto assets and stablecoins, we are examining whether a U.S. central bank digital currency would improve upon what is an already safe and efficient domestic payment system. As our white paper on this topic notes, a U.S. CBDC could also potentially help maintain the dollar's international.
And they've been building this out in the background while they kept people distracted with Bitcoin, with Ukraine, with everything else that's going on in the world. And I think the U.S. has a CBDC that's ready to go live at any moment. All they need is to get stablecoin regulations put in place first. And did you know that Basel III also includes bail-ins? So think about that. 63 central banks decided to use bail-ins as part of a rescuing operation for failed banks. Basel III includes wide acceptance of bail-in as a way of rescuing failing banks, unlike a bailout, which involves external assistance, often from taxpayers. A bail-in restructures the bank's liabilities internally, which includes taking the money you have on deposit and in savings accounts, as these form part of the bank's liabilities, and converting them from cash you can use into something else, like shares in the bank. Remember when the FDIC was talking about bail-ins? They said, well, we'll just give them bank shares. But those bank shares are going to be worthless because the bank is going to get swallowed up by one of the bigger banks. So you will end up losing all your money either way. So think about that. The BIS, the central bank of all central banks, decided to add in bail-ins as part of the rescue plan. And yet people want to store their money at the banks. The banks are not safe. It's part of the plan. The only problem CBDC solves is how to track you and how you spend your money. It is a means to control you. CBDC is digital surveillance, AI-controlled global social credit system. You get assigned a digital ID, digital currency available. Your digital ID receives a carbon allocation. All your purchases are tracked and controlled. And you see it right here in this mapping. So there's going to be elite citizens who are not going to be tied to digital ID or CBDC. They're going to be controlling the entire system. Then there's going to be good citizens, bad citizens, and people that are blacklisted. So how would they get you onto the CBDC system? Well, once the banks fail and you're a victim of a bail-in, they're going to have a different bailout option available. So once they bail in your money, they're going to say, well, the government will make you whole, but you have to take it in the form of CBDC. That's how they're easily going to transfer people from fiat to CBDC. And that is part of the plan as well. The central bankers got together and said, we're going to have a direct reset. And the World Economic Forum called it the Great Reset. Take a listen to this right here.
But here's our situation. We are operating on on an economic model that has to change. And so, the central bankers got together and said, we're going to have a going direct reset. And the World Economic Forum called it the Great Reset. But basically, they're doing a reset. Now, if you go back over the last 500 years of the central banking warfare model, every 100 years or so, there is a reset. And there are remarkable patterns, it appears, historically, to each reset. But anyway, so we do need a reset, and it's a Tina Turner thing. We could do this nice or rough. And the risk-adverse way to do the reset, if you're Mr. Global, is simply to dramatically reduce the population and put them under complete control. And that's what they're doing. Now, there's another way to do the reset, and that's to basically evolve into an economic model which is in balance environmentally and is sort of building wealth globally together, which I believe can be done. It's called human civilization, and it can happen, but it's much harder to do and much riskier. And if you're the guys running everything, you're going to be liable for all the sort of bad news that comes out, and you might not end up in control. So I can understand why they're being risk adverse and they'd rather do their reset. But what we need to do is we need to have a reset. And if we don't insist on our kind of reset, the people's reset, then we're going to get their reset.
And she said that they've been planning this reset for a long period of time. I think it's going to be a reset by force, In other words, they're just going to shut down the financial system. Everything will come to a standstill. And then they're going to go live with the new financial system. And people will have no choice but to transition from this system over to the new system. It will most likely be the most simple way that they can get it done. And when you look at all these projects at the BIS, right, I want to point out a few things here. First off, you see Q&T is tied to most of these projects. So is Ripple. Every single one of them is tied to RippleNet technology somehow, some way. Also, you're going to have XLM inside of here, XDC. HBAR is also tied into a few of them. Algo is part of a few of them. IOTA will come on board later because IOTA is more around Internet of Things and machine-to-machine payments, things like that. But this is why they can create this reset scenario. They're going to use the technology that Ripple has, similar to that, or Quant. You could name any network that is ISO compatible or compliant. It can easily be part of the transition. But why is Ripple going in this direction? Why did they choose Ripple? Well, Brad sums it up right here.
I think what we're doing and executing on a day-by-day basis is in fact taking over SWIFT, in that we've now signed up well over 100 banks. Some of the largest SWIFT-enabled banks in the world are now using Ripple's technology. Just last week we saw a remittance company who's using Ripple's technology. They reduced the price per transaction to their consumers from $20 per transaction to $2 per transaction, and they saw an 800% increase in usage overnight. That's the type of dynamic that SWIFT isn't able to support that we're able to address right now.
So think about that. Ripple technology can easily overtake SWIFT. And the BIS realized this. And they said, hey, listen, if SWIFT wants to drag their feet on this, we don't care. We'll just go live with RippleNet technology and we'll onboard the entire world onto RippleNet. And then XRP can be used as a world's bridge currency. And what it's built to do in the first place. And that's what allows them to have the reset. But remember, I always told you, if you stay invested in XRP, you might be able to break away from the digital system, the slavery system. So you see, digital central bank money, only available to financial institutions. Bank reserves, wholesale CBDC. Digital central bank money, available to the general economy. All users identifiable, account-based retail CBDC. Access with identification. Users can be anonymous. Token-based retail CBDC. Access with private and public keys. Like I told you, there's going to be a parallel system, and we are holding the token that is based inside of that system. We are holding the cryptocurrency that is going to allow you to break away from the system that requires every single transaction you make to be recorded or tracked. Like I told you all along, you want to break away from the system that is going to have complete control over everyone. You have to stay invested in crypto. There is going to be a secondary system. And I think that system is going to run on certain cryptocurrencies. Then there's this, leaving out the part that if robots take everyone's jobs, and it will be virtually every job, who will have the money to pay for the robots? Here comes universal basic income, except that it will have to be way more than basic. You see, Elon Musk just released these Optimus robots. And Elon Musk is another guy that's out there saying, we need to slow down AI, but at the same time, he's speeding up AI. And we already know that AI is going to end up taking a lot of jobs. And robots are going to be in every single workforce at some point. And UBI, everybody's going to hail it right out of the gate. They're going to say, UBI is incredible. It allows me to go ahead and sit at home and do nothing all day. I could play video games. But the problem is universal basic income is going to come with government control. You're not going to be able to buy certain things with universal basic income. Then there's this. So of course, in 15-minute cities, it would be up to the consumer on how they choose to use their rationed carbon credits for travel. Now, the World Economic Forum says everyone is going to get rationed carbon credits, but the poor can sell their carbon credits to the rich, so the rich can travel all around the world while the poor can go and visit those places through the metaverse. The metaverse is going to be the ultimate control system. Think Ready Player One. That's what I always think of whenever I see this. And you know, carbon credits are like the biggest scam out there. It's all bullshit. And carbon credits are not about going green. It's not about saving the planet. It's about controlling you. Most people aren't capable of thinking for themselves. They want a leader to show them the way. Larry Fink is that guy, CEO of BlackRock. He wants crypto regulations and tokenization more than you do. It's about weaponizing tokenization to force their political agendas that so few can comprehend. Take a listen to what the devil, Larry Fink, says here.
I said, these are just stepping stones towards tokenization. And I really do believe this is where we're going to be going. We have the technology to tokenize today. If you want to talk about, think about this. If you had a tokenized security and you have a tokenized identity, you, Andrew, the moment you buy or sell an instrument, it's known. It's on a general ledger that is all created together. You want to talk about issues around money laundering and all that. This eliminates all corruption by having a tokenized system.
Take notice how he said it eliminates all corruption, and he talked about anti-money laundering. But take notice to what else he said. The devil is in the details. Tokenized identity. Like I've been telling you, they're going to tokenize us at some point. Every single person on the planet will be tokenized in the future. What is the value of that person? And think about it. If you're a rich person, right? You would be buying tokens of a healthy person that goes to work every day. And how would you be making money off of those tokens? Well, when his day is done, you would get some sort of reward for him showing up to work today and doing his job. But there's so many other ways they could take value from people. And a lot of it is also going to be in the form of data. Remember, I kept saying they're going to tokenize all the world's data as well. Look what's going on with 23andMe. I think what we're watching happen is we're going to see a reset. And the financial system is going to get frozen. Anybody holding Bitcoin is going to zero because they're going to come in and gut BlackRock. The elites are going to end up taking their money back, all their assets back, because I really do believe BlackRock is a shell company created by the elites all the way back in 1988. And all of a sudden, people are going to lose everything because even a lot of people's 401k and their retirement funds are now being invested into Bitcoin. And most of them don't even realize it's happening because these big corporations are doing it. And they're getting the green light from these companies at the same time. So when Bitcoin goes, it's going to wipe out a lot of cash. And I think what's going to happen beyond that is you're going to have the rise of AI at the same time as well. UBI is going to be talked about everywhere. And anybody that's holding the right cryptocurrencies, when all of this is said and done, you're going to be part of the new 1%. You can break away from the trackable system. Your transactions will not be recorded. You think other millionaires are going to have their transactions recorded? Absolutely not. Do you think people like Larry Fink are going to have their transactions recorded? Absolutely not. You can possibly get onto that system. And when they talk about token-based system, I'm thinking they're talking more on the lines of crypto already. But I wanted to point all this out because things are starting to happen around this now. People are pointing out that this was planned all along. And more people are talking about it today than ever before. But like I always tell you, you don't want to sell too soon. And always make sure you don't sell your entire bag of XRP. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.